So I've got Ashley here to talk about her career in the insurance sales business. She's worked with 5 IMOs and agencies in the last 18 months. And the reason I have her here is because I want to speak specifically to the new agents out there who many of you will fail. Let's face it, 90% plus of the new agent population fails. And a lot of it has to do with picking the wrong agencies. You have an idea of what you want to accomplish. You then pick an agency that sounds great, but lo and behold, they're an MLM Kool-Aid drinking scheme or something like that. And the purpose of this is really to kind of go into Ashley's experience. She's a very successful final expense telesales agent who runs a YouTube channel. You'll learn more about that and maybe learn some things from her journey, I guess you could say, along the way of working with different IMOs and what steps you can take to avoid making those same mistakes. So Ashley, welcome. How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so give us a little overview of who you are, what you do, and your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, so I'm a mom to start with and a wife, and I sell final expense and I do it telesales over the phone from the comfort of my own home. And I started a YouTube channel just to kind of share my experience. I know agents struggle out there. I was once a struggling agent, so I figured sharing my story, some call reviews, things like that, just to kind of help some people out. So it's just my handle's just my name, Ashley Molinex, if you needed to find me.
So toss that into the YouTube search and then they'll find your
Yep.
content. Perfect. So why did you get into the insurance space to begin with? What brought you here?
Yeah, so again, just like most folks say, I wasn't looking for life insurance, it found me. So I was a stay-at-home mom, quickly realized that I had, I guess you would call cabin fever. I'm a worker bee at heart, and I just couldn't stay home while my kids were at school, and it was just dead silent. So I was finding something, just a part-time capacity job to kind of entertain my brain space, and I wanted to do it from home. I knew I wanted the flexibility to be able to still go to the field trips and do the mom thing and have my weekends off. So I put my resume out there on the internet, and wouldn't you know it, one of those MLM-y companies found me and got me
Right.
into a Zoom room with 20 plus people, and here I am.
So, okay, so MLM, maybe it was IMO number one.
I am a number one.
They found you based off of a resume. So, what was that experience like? And then what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, so I was actually very confused on the first phone call I got. I didn't really quite understand. They said something about final expense. I had never heard that word before. And so they said, well, just come to the group. We do group onboarding, kind of training, not training, but more of like a group interview to start with. And you'll have more information there. Can you be there at this time? And it came on very quickly. And I said, well, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I can be there. And then when I hop into the Zoom room, there's tons of different faces, and it's a pre-recorded type video.
Ah,
It was a pre-recording. Didn't really realize that until I was like 5 minutes in, because you're typing in the chat, you have questions. They say, hey, if you have questions, say something. No one was really responding, but the speaker was responding to questions that weren't even being asked.
okay. Right.
So it was that kind of situation, but they presented the plan, right? This is what you would do. We have these families, they raise their hand, we get them this type of coverage, and then it's pitched to you like, wouldn't you like that? And I'm like, well, yeah, that sounds great. This seems easy enough. And and then they go from the group to a one-on-one in a Zoom room, and then from there they say, hey, go get your license.
I see. Okay. So did you stick with them during the process and get your license, or did you seg you and leave before you even like, did you quit before you start, or did you get started? And then what did you find out then?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I did not start with them. So I was in the process of getting my license, and my husband started watching some videos on YouTube, and there was this other, big, large IMO that was like self-promoting, but it was
Yeah.
it was just like a hype, and there was Kool-Aid, and I drank it. And I said, I want to join that agency. And so that's what I did. I ended up joining under a different agency, which,
Right.
fun fact, I tried to go back to the agency that recruited me, and they had already within like 6 weeks dispersed. They were no longer.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
so they left or they were
Yes.
ended or something. Okay. So you ended up joining. How long did you stay? And then what was the trigger that caused you to say, hey, this isn't right for me, and then look elsewhere?
Yeah, so the first IMO I joined, I was only there for about 3 weeks, and I was in the hole about $2,800.
Okay.
When I came on, there was no training. I had no idea what I was doing. I was given a script, and then I was told, hey, buy these leads, the penny on the dollar type leads, very old,
Yeah.
being called multiple times. And I was lost in the sauce, so to speak. I had no idea what was up, what was down. I would show up for these Zoom meetings, and it was just a bunch of like, get on the phones, do the thing. Everyone that does this wins. And it was just sales, sales, you can do. And I was so lost. I had no, so I went to YouTube land and I started watching people who were sharing their calls and learning. And I was like, what's happening now is not the way this should be. At least that's what YouTube was telling me. So that's when I decided to jump ship and find a different IMO.
So, okay. So then what was the main takeaway with this? Was a turning point buying the crappy leads, or just feeling like you're not getting support, not getting help? Like what
It
was
was
it for you?
it was a combination. So it
Okay.
was no support, no help. Going to the Zoom meetings, I felt good. Like I would leave going, okay. And then I would try to pick up the phone and I had zero idea what to do.
Yeah.
I needed guidance. I needed help. And I knew that.
Right. So yeah. So kind of check the box there: training, support, a
Right.
blueprint, something that can teach you is what was missing. And
Right.
I'll say 100% true. There's a lot of agents that could be successful in this business, but they end up joining the wrong organization. It's not your fault either, because you just don't know what you don't know. And then
Right.
you find out after the fact there's no actual substantive guidance. It's just yelling at you to get on the phone and work. There's nothing wrong with that, but where's the ladder to climb to get to that point competently? That's what
Correct.
that's what's
Yeah.
missing. So that's IMO2. So tell me about
No, that
IMO.
was IMO 1. I was there for 3
Oh,
weeks, and then I went to IMO 2.
okay. So tell me about IMO2. What was different about them? And then why did you leave this time around? And what did you learn?
Yeah, so IMO 2, I went with them and I was trying to do a better job picking an IMO this time. I had actually interviewed with a couple of local agencies, like feet on the ground,
All
that
right.
did the face-to-face thing. And it was just never something that was very comfortable with me. Also, face-to-face, I quickly realized I would not have the flexibility that I needed as a mom. Like it just wasn't an option.
Can you give
So
me a little, I think it would be useful for the audience to understand, like why wouldn't that be an option, whereas telesales is?
Yeah, so well, because you have to leave your house and you're gone for X amount of time. The two IMOs that I talked to in the downtown Fort Worth area, they were saying like you have to be available, like you have to be here by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. From 1 to like 3 or 4, we're dialing to set appointments, and at 4 o'clock we're on the road. It's windshield time, and then we're there all
Mm,
through the evening. And I'm like, well, how am I going to make dinner? Like I have to pick my
yeah.
kids up from school at 2:30. Is there any flexibility? Can I set appointments at home and then just show up and go? And there was no flexibility in that for me versus telesales. I set my own hours, and as long as I'm doing the activity, I'm very profitable.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
you're doing these interviews and you're at IMO2. Let's get back to there. So what was that like? And then why did you change?
Yeah, so I went to IMO 2. 1, they said they had training. 2, they had free leads, which was a big thing for me since I just lost $2,800 buying penny on the dollar thing. So went there for free leads and the support. And wouldn't you know it, May of last year, a straight month of just, they wanted me to record myself on Zoom reading the script, and then we correct it, and they show up weekly for these meetings, and there was just no traction. I kept doing the thing and asking. I was even asking, hey, can I listen to my upline? Can I watch you on a call? Because YouTube is telling me, hey, if you got a good upline, they'll have call reviews for you. They'll have these things. And I didn't have those things, right? I
Mm,
just had, here's the script and record yourself and keep showing it to us. But I was never granted permission to actually start dialing because they were the gatekeeper. They had the leads, the free ones, and they needed to give it to me, but they wouldn't give it to me until I cleared whatever checkpoint I needed to with my recordings.
so they didn't have actual agent calls to listen to kind of as like a benchmark of what success sounds like?
No.
Wow. Okay. That
Yeah.
guys, this is really interesting because what we do, and I'm tooting my own horn here, but it's really important. Like we want our agents to listen to what top tier agents sound like, because otherwise you don't really have an idea of what the business actually is. You're just kind of going based off of a script, which is good. I mean, it's a step forward, but you need to be comparing what you're doing versus what the like high level standard is. Because in that listening and interaction, that's when you're like, get the aha moments. Oh yeah, I'm not doing this, but I should be doing that. So yeah, that's a big mistake they had there. So what happened? Did you end up being able to sell, or they just wouldn't let you on?
Well, so I was there for a total about 4 months and I ended up selling 6 policies in total, but of
Okay.
course it was primarily friends and family.
Ah,
So what I learned there quickly when I got to the end of May and it was a month and I was sick and tired of just spinning my wheels, not having any momentum, I finally went a step above my upline and emailed that person and said, hey, how the heck do I get on the phones? Like, I want leads. And they said, oh, you actually have to sell a policy before we give you any leads.
oh, whoops.
And I was like, oh, okay. So that's when I started calling my friends and my family. And I ended up closing. My husband had a veteran because we were kind of targeting the veterans market.
Sure.
My husband's a former
Okay.
veteran. He had vet buddies, and I pitched one of them, and they bought the thing from me, which
Cool.
helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. So at what point did you decide enough was enough and you left to find the next IMO?
Yeah, so in July of that year, I had mastered in that. So that was telesales, but I had to get these seniors on a Zoom call, like
Really?
face to face. It was very hard to do. We know how hard it is to get them to sign an e-app, try to get them to open up Zoom and press like the video button to see my face. It was
Wow.
extremely difficult. It was appointment setting, getting them into the Zoom room. And I counted, it was like 27. I want to think about it. I would go through the whole script, get the referrals, the whole thing. And then I want to think about it. I had no idea what to do. I would ask my upline, oh, this is just time. It just takes time. Keep reading the script. You see all these other people winning. All these other people are doing the thing and they're reading the same script. So just
Sure.
keep doing it. And I felt like I would just keep spinning and spinning and spinning my wheels. And I was spending so much time at my desk. I mean, it took time to dial in the morning, set the appointments, and then show up later in the day. And then I was having to set appointments for times I didn't really want to work
Yeah.
because I had to be available on their schedule. And then, people don't show up. It was a hot mess.
So you couldn't even one call close these people over the phone?
Mm-mm. No, you have to get them in a Zoom room because you share your screen. You share your screen because you're giving them like a veteran benefit booklet. You're giving them, it's a lot of just like the union stuff. Like the union people get their union things, the veteran people get their veteran things. And so I had to be able to show them their accidental death and dismemberment certificate and all this stuff and share it with them and manually type in their information through this packet that I'm giving them. I mean, it was a whole production.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because I mean, immediately we know how final expense people are, Mildred, like you have to sell them on the first call. And an amazing thing is they must have lost a ton of money too, because it's just the nature of how our people are. It's just, okay. So anyway, so you left. Where did you go? This is, I'm live lost count. I think this is third one, right?
That was number 2.
Oh, no, we're still on 2. Okay. So 3, what happened at 3?
Yeah. So number 3 was actually where things kind of shifted for me. So
Okay.
number 3, I went there because of training. Okay. So it was someone on YouTube that I had followed, trusted, and I knew that I would get the training that I needed. And that's exactly what I got. I was hungry. I had wasted a lot of time up to this point, so I took it very seriously. And within a matter of 2 weeks, I was getting to the point where I was closing 8 policies a week, easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So real quick, yeah, I have to comment, like, this is the thing. Like, there are some of you out there watching this right now who could be successful, but it's the setup of the agency is just not optimal. They don't understand how to actually train you. right? It's not always the agency's fault. A lot of times it's the agent's fault. I want to be honest with you too, but there are some of you that probably feel like, you could be successful if you're not getting training and the support, et cetera, and all that stuff. Like, you might want to start blaming them a little bit and then reworking your own career. But please proceed. Go ahead. Tell how did it happen from there? So you're getting results now. You're making sales. What went wrong this time?
So this time I didn't have my time. So I was still having to work obscene hours. And
Yeah.
I struggled to make dinner. I tried to do the whole let's get HelloFresh and get my preteens to figure out how to start cooking dinner for the family. And I would have to wake up and dial on Saturdays. And it was just because I didn't have the option to not work as long. My goal was I need at least 10 policies in order to hit the bonus. So I was in a structure that I never got a certain percentage in commission. It was a flat fee for policy sold.
I see. I see.
And so I had to sell so many policies to get like the weekly bonus. And so the pay structure forced me to have to work longer hours because my comps weren't there to justify
right. I got
time
you.
and earnings. Yeah.
So from the standpoint of being a mom, it was less time, family time, less time doing the things you needed to do to juggle the work-life balance. And then the way that it was structured, the only way you can make it work is if you worked all those hours.
Right.
Because of how their comp structure is, et cetera.
Correct.
So, again, that was eventually you realized this and like, can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I was there for 2 months and it got real heavy really fast when we were approaching the holiday season. That's when I was really feeling the weight of the world on like my mom's shoulders.
Yeah.
And I would just like, I had hit a wall and I just broke down and I was crying. My husband was unhappy. He was like, this is like, because even in that structure, I wasn't earning a lot of money for what the industry, says, hey, you're an agent. This is not easy. You provide value. You are worth a certain amount of money. And I wasn't getting that, but I had mastered the skill set. And so 2 months into it, I had the weight of the world. And so just pulled the plug and, was pivoting and trying to look for other options. And now we're into the fourth
one. Okay. So tell us about the fourth one.
So the fourth one, what drew me to that one, because now that I have a skill set and I understand the process, I'm very confident on the phone. I thought, well, how do I get my time back? Because now it's a thing. I need mom time and I need to be present for my girls. So I was searching for the IMO that had the transfer live calls to me.
Right.
So I was saying, if you could just get someone to call in to me, I could close them all day long. Easy. Yeah. And so that's how I thought I would get my time freedom back.
And how did that actually work out?
Yeah, they're not great. They're very, very expensive. And those live transfers are no different. I would wager a little worse than, doing what I'm doing now, which is the Facebook leads outbound dialing. There's nothing special or fancy about inbound at all.
Right. Right. Were these TV leads or were these inbound leads?
These were TV leads, but the way it's structured is you have inbound live transfers coming into all these agents and you have an app on your phone. So when a live transfer comes in, you have to be the first one out of thousands of agents to press the button to get the thing, and you wouldn't do it. And so my upline was then saying, okay, I'm going to outsource inbound calls just for my team. And then when that started happening, I started watching some of your content, David, and realized, oh, the TCPA guidelines and stuff. Yeah. The guy that was running it, he definitely was from, overseas. People would be calling me. They'd be very confused. I couldn't understand that person I was talking to. Why am I talking to you? They don't remember filling out the thing. And I quickly realized, oh crap, if I continue doing this, I could hit some really heavy, big fines. Yeah. And so then, for those reasons, I was number 5 right here, David.
Yeah. So before we get to that, and talking about what's working for you now and the kind of results you're getting, a couple of key things I want to let agents know. First of all, the TCPA is the telemarketing rules, like who you can call, who you can't call. And one of the biggest changes, it's August 24 right now. At the end of the year, beginning of next, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a new regulation that requires leads to have one-to-one verification or validation. Doing your own leads, generating your own leads is completely fine. But a lot of the times these live transfers, they're using data, which is really cheap. Lead, as I wouldn't even call it. It's basically phone books. And that's going away. And that's been the biggest issue too, is because the other side of that is outsourcing to another country, literally. Usually it's the Philippines or Pakistan, sometimes India. They don't necessarily follow the do not call TCPA rule set, because the federal prosecutors aren't going to go after them. They're going to go after you, the agent, because you're the one that initiated the call in their eyes. And there are professional litigators, lawyers that will sue agents, agencies, carriers, because it's a great living. And so the point is you really have to be careful with where you get your leads, especially starting in 2025 and beyond. You got to make sure that they're valid, that you've got all the consent requirements, especially with telesales. So now you're at the Dig Agency. I promise this isn't a shameless plug, but it's going to sound like that. So we'll go with it. What have you found out with how we do things? What do you like about it? How are you doing sales? Like, and how is it accommodating the kind of lifestyle that you want?
Yeah. Great question. So it really does fit every single bill with everything that I've learned not to do and what I have learned to do through all those different IMOs. Honestly, David, you kind of have everything that's needed for an agent to thrive. First and foremost, the CRM. I love that you just launched your CRM. I think that is critical for agents. I love the bot, the booking bot is awesome. Really does help strengthen, just the momentum that you have as an agent. Dialer, wow, is that a game changer? The Kixie. And then also training, like you have tons of live calls to listen to. So when I came in and I started to adopt your script, it was very, very helpful to listen to it. Also, there's trainings and breakdowns on the script, the method, like this is what we are intending to do in this section. This is the information that we need, and this is why we're saying it. Detailed explanation of those things, I think, is very, very helpful, very, very important. Even though I kind of, came in with a knowledge on how to sell, adopting a new script, that was very helpful to me. And then really, because my comp level is so great, and I've worked really hard to master and get comfortable on the phones, and I'm good at underwriting. I'm very familiar with the carriers. Also, you have great carrier training as well for agents to learn, who to go with and how to work toolkits and everything. It's insane. I show up every morning. I start dialing about 8:30 in the morning. Most of the time I'm done by 1 or 2 o'clock. If it's a bad dial day, I'll probably be at my desk till 5, and that's like a long day. That's
Right.
Okay, I got to do the thing because I didn't hit my target goal. But I have consecutively hit over 22,000 in production every single month. And that's really kind of on a part-time, very lackadaisical kind of schedule. And I can still like do things like yesterday, I opted not to work because I wanted to take my girls to the water park. And I know that I can do that because I get paid so well for what I do, and I don't have to be doing it for 60 hours a week.
Yeah. And then kind of build on that too, because I think this is really important, like, especially for moms out there in your position, like how is working with us helping your work-life balance? Do you feel like you're stressed? Do you feel like this is too much? Do you feel like you have full control of your schedule? Because I think speaking of that is so important.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like I have full control of my schedule. A night and day different from where I was learning a skill set, but I was not in control of my time. I have 100% control of my time here. I don't have to check in or do anything. But if I ever need anyone, if I need Tim or I have questions, y'all are 100% are always there, right? If I need any help with contracting, your contracting people are super fast and quick to it. But I'm not having to check in and time out.
Right. Yeah. So there's a sense of freedom that comes with, I think, working with us, which is
Yeah.
really important, right? When you got to juggle everything
1000%.
already. So, okay. So guys, if you like Ashley and you like what she is talking about, she does have a YouTube channel. Mentioned it earlier. It's Ashley Molinex. Just put her name into YouTube. You'll find it. But also, we're just going to throw this out here, Ashley. She's got her script that she uses that's available completely for free. You will find that in the description box down here. So make sure you download that. There's nothing to buy, nothing at all. You don't have to like get recruited by us or anything like that. Like, it's totally for free for you to use. And Ashley's been using it and she's had great success with it. So please take us up on that. Look in the description box or the comment box below, and go get it, download it, and put it to use and make some money with it. So Ashley, thank you for your time. And you guys out there, have a good day. See you.
Thank you.